Welcome back to Boston Public Radio. Margery, Eagan, and Jim Braude live at the library. Stream at youtube.com/GBH News. It's time once again for Live Music Friday, care of Cuban-born pianist and composer Zahili Zamora. At 6 years old, she was practicing classical music for 10 hours a day. Today, she's a professor at Berkeley, performs next Thursday night at Long Live Roxbury. We're going to talk about Long Live Roxbury in a minute. As part of the Brewery's Jazz Night series of free live music from artists celebrated locally and around the world. Also, she is performing tonight, 7 p.m. at Scholars Jazz Club as part of the You're Israel Quintet. She joins us now with a trio of musicians that includes bassist Abner Cabrera, drummer Connor Sturge. And if you want more information about all this stuff, including shows, you go to Zahili Zamora, ZAHILI Zamora.com. Here she is with her trio performing an original composition called Friends. Welcome to all three of you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Zahili Zamora, along with bassist Abner Cabrera and drummer Connor Sturge. Zahili is going to be performing tonight a concert at Scholars Jazz Club as part of the You're Israel Quintet, that's at 7 o'clock, and a free concert next Thursday, March 27th at Long Live Roxbury Brewing Company. Thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. And I don't know about the Long Live Roxbury Brewing
We're going to talk
Company.
about it.
We're going to talk about that.
Can I just say before you ask a question, the three of you look so happy playing. By the way, that was almost as much fun as the music, as watching all three of your faces. It was beautiful. Zahili and Abner are joining us, by the way. Welcome to all three of you. It's great to see you.
Yeah, so we think I think of jazz as an American thing, but you're from Cuba, you're from the Dominican Republic, so obviously we have spread right around the world. I mean, this is not just ours anymore, right?
Right. To me, jazz is just freedom of expression, literally, in whichever form that is. Improvisation, anything that includes improvisation. And when we say it like that, we could even say, improvisation used to be present in classical music as well, which is everything I knew up to the point I was consciously acknowledging jazz.
Yeah, when Jim said before you practiced classical music for 10 hours a day,
yes.
Did you have finger pad injuries? No?
Although I'm older now, I cannot say that I'm able to do that same thing. But yeah, I mean, not necessarily when I was 6. When I was 6, I was in the process of curiosity.
Yeah.
The piano was already at home. I was curious. I was just reaching out, and thank you, Grandma, rest in peace, that noticed my curiosity and took me to a conservatory. So I started at the age of 6, but yeah, soon after that, there was just a level of discipline. I was just drawn to the music.
Didn't you ask your family to move to Havana, or so that you would have better training? Is that not true?
That is true. How do you?
She
Yes.
told me. That's how I knew that.
We did our homework. We read our story.
You did your homework.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Abner, what's the story on jazz in the Dominican Republic?
I mean, we are lucky to have a couple of Berkeley alumni back home, and it's very interesting because the conservatory in Dominican Republic is for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't need to pay. And we got lucky that the popular department, like the popular music department director, is a Berkeley alum.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So his name is Javier Vargas. So it's like there's a great thing in Dominican Republic that people want to give back. Mm. So a bunch of people came here and they went back to Dominican Republic and started, like teaching jazz, and that's how we became part of the conservatory. So you can go and do classical, but you can go there and also do like jazz.
Abner, when you say come here and then go back, it makes me think you both were born in other countries, as we just discussed a minute ago. People born in other countries not that popular in this country these days. I mean, I don't mean everybody, but we all know what's going on around us. Starting with you, Abner, and then you, Zahili. Does that affect how you think about your music at all when you're playing, the environment in which you're playing, considering both of your backgrounds?
I think it does, but in my case, I see music as a tool that you can overcome everything. Mm-hmm. It's a universal language that you can just use to bless other people. You know what I mean? So even though there's crazy stuff happening around, music is it stays on. And even though it's present in society, and everything that happens in society will influence music, but you can stick to it and try to use music as a tool to lift up people, instead of bringing them down.
How about you, Zahili?
Music is a vessel of communication, and every artist, our way to keep our authentic selves is through our own story. We cannot forget where we come from, Being Cuban is all that represents what I am, along with classical music and along with every single other place I have visited around the world. So, now more than ever, I will hold that, Cuban flag in my music. Yeah.
Well, one more depressing question, but it would seem to me what would be impacted is what you just talked about, Abner. People going back and forth and thinking that we could just go freely back and forth between here and your country or a lot of other countries. We hear about people from France getting stopped and people from Germany getting stopped. And I would think that would be an issue that the talent might not want to come here so readily from another country.
It's more complex for me because, in Cuba, you need to have a visa. It's a way more complicated situation, even coming from Cuba. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. If I'm going to have an opinion about it, if a Cuban has the opportunity to leave the country and share the
They'll come.
world to the world, that they'll come.
Okay, we're
regardless.
done with depressing questions.
We're done with
We're gonna go upbeat.
I said that was the last one, Jim.
you.
Okay, so Bay State Banner, and we have the editor here once a month, the publisher, wrote, so much bad news, Jazz Night provides an escape. And they're specifically talking about Long Live Roxbury. Can you, Zahili, can you talk about it a minute? Long Live Roxbury, Thursday night for you,
Yes.
6 o'clock. What is that venue?
I am thankful over and over and over again for places like Long Live Roxbury who now are coming to their year. It's a year that it's been around. And musicians like me have an opportunity to go there and perform for people that actually are welcoming and appreciative of the music, and they go for the music. You know, they do offer, obviously, food and drinks, but you usually don't hear the clacking of the plates and people talking over the music, and we become a second, background music. They actually go to learn about the artist in Boston.
Zahili is saying to all of you, don't talk when they're playing in a couple
But
of...
you know, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because sometimes you go to a place where there is an incredibly talented musician, particularly a pianist, playing, and nobody's listening. It drives me insane.
You and I went
It's
to a
depressing.
lunch where Grace Kelly, one of the great saxophonists, born in Brookline, was playing. Do you remember? And virtually nobody was paying attention.
Yeah.
As brilliant as she was, it was so totally
You want to get up and say, would you
disrespectful.
sit down and be quiet?
Hey,
Yeah.
what's the local jazz? I mean, we mentioned Long Live Roxbury, and we know we have GBH's Jazz Now, and there are a whole bunch. How is the jazz scene in 2025? How hospitable, how welcoming is Boston to jazz?
I think it's amazing, to be honest. Of course, there's a difference in like comparing Boston to New York.
What's the difference?
New York is more active. There's more venues. There's more stuff, happening. But there's a thing with Boston that since there are so many music schools around, people is just willing to collaborate between each other. Like people from France, people from Dominican Republic, they got together, they create a group, and now you have this like really different flavor of these people combined. And we have venues that they have been opening, we have Wally's there.
Yeah.
We also have places like the Record Co. that a lot of independent artists are going there to record their stuff. So I think it's really good and it's growing.
We're talking with pianist and composer Zahili Zamora and bassist Abner Cabrera. Zahili's going to be doing a concert tonight at Sculler's Jazz Club at 7 o'clock, and she's going to be doing a free concert Thursday, the 27th, at Long Live Roxbury Brewing Company. So tell us about performance anxiety.
Yes. I was waiting for you to ask me about that. Okay, so in all honesty and vulnerability here, right before the pandemic started, I started seeing a life coach, therapist, for very personal reasons. And in my journey with her, I discovered that music performance anxiety was probably something I needed to tend to. I became so focused on it that I went to do my master's degree, and I actually specialized on the full research on music performance anxiety, only to discover that is something way more over the surface. Get it together. If you practice, you're good. That's it. Right? There could be a lot of psychological levels below that that could get on the way of you having an enjoyable performance. So to this point, thanks to a grant that I got, I was able to create an online course called Music Performance Anxiety Workshop. It's only 5 days. It's online. It's running right now. And it's for a lot of musicians, all instrumentalists and singers, to get together. I actually hosted with my coach, Bridget Keller, and we talk about the various tools and causes, tools to face it and causes, So I'm very proud of that. In fact, the new music that I'm writing currently is based on the various layers of performance anxiety based on personal experience.
Isn't the song you're going to play in a few minutes?
Yes.
Isn't that about despair?
It
Isn't
is.
That, yeah. Can I ask you,
But
if I'm
before we
sorry,
move on from
sure.
that, you're not playing with music, are you? Or are you?
No. I'm
Okay,
not.
because I think that's the scariest thing for a musician that's going to perform. Without music, you're going to forget.
Yeah.
And so I remember as a kid always being told, just keep going, keep going.
Right.
90% of people won't know you forgot. You can just start playing scales.
Yes.
They won't know you forgot. But that, to me, is the scariest part. No music, that you have a mental block. So what do you do?
Yeah. Oh. I look silent.
Yeah.
Actually, it happened when we were at soundcheck. It's like, I got, like a mental block. I'm like, I don't know what goes next.
Yeah.
But funny thing is that I was the engineer for the online course because I'm an audio engineer.
We
and
know that, yeah.
I was the recording and post-production engineer. And it's funny that when they were talking, in the course and they were sharing this knowledge, I'm in the control booth like, oh man, I need to pay attention to that. Like, I realized that those teachings are something that needs to be included, in every college, in every performance, school, because we don't realize how much that impact the way you perform.
Absolutely.
You get stressed. You get so many things are in your mind that is difficult for you to really enjoy the music.
Can I stay on this just for a second? Zahili, I was commenting, I said when you both got up here how wonderful it was to watch the happiness on all three of your faces. If seeing you today, and you were like transformed, it seemed to me, when you're at the piano, would I have noticed a different you if I had seen you playing before you dealt with this issue, or was it only apparent to you, not me, the listener?
Great question. Great question. I've been conditioned to smile.
Yeah.
And Cuban music is happy,
Yeah.
Even coming from classical music, I remember, this is a true story, coming into my first band that I was playing in. And classical music is more introspective. I could be in my own world right here, just a piano and myself. And I remember the first band leader that I worked with, she called me up and she said, look at yourself. They had recorded me on video, the concert previously. And I was just, as if I had been playing classical music, but it was a 13-piece band and everybody's moving and I'm like, she's like, you need to change that by yesterday if you want to continue playing with us. And I went like, okay, fake it till you make it. So it started,
And here she is.
Yeah, so the smile comes in naturally, although that's not to say I also enjoy the music.
I understand.
Right?
So what are you playing, you and your two colleagues here, when you return to that little area? What are you playing for us?
We're going to play a tune called Despair, which I composed about 3 years ago, and it really marks the beginning of all my discoveries with performance anxiety.
So do you want to gently put your headsets down on the table, and Margery will once again rejoin your colleague, and Margery will tell people how to find you.
We're going to hear Despair, pianist and composer Zahili Zamora, joined by her bassist Abner Cabrera and drummer Connor Surge. To get tickets for this event. Where's the thing about the tickets for this event? Here it is. To get tickets for the event. Oh my goodness. Where's the thing about the tickets?
You go to Zahili Zamora.
Thank you.
Zahili Zamora.com. You can find out everything about her performances, shows coming up, how you can RSVP, and all that kind of stuff. And here is Zahili and her colleagues playing her composition, Despair.